Hi there, members, and welcome to this doing session for MySmileSim, that wonderful application that can really boost the amount of aesthetic clients that are interested in your services. We've got with us today Les Schneider and John Kerr from MySmileSim. We're going to be doing a bit of a doing session and a step-by-step what you need to do to implement this wonderful resource into your practice. We're also joined by Andrew Lee of Health Practice Digital. He's going to give us some marketing ideas of where we can take this MySmileSim in our practice. I'll also be adding a few systems, very simple, very straightforward, that you as a practice can implement to make sure you're making best use of these opportunities as they come your way, these opportunities of aesthetic clients. So I'm going to hand over to Les and John for a bit of a step-by-step process. Thank you all for joining us, first of all, and over to you, Les and John.
Thanks very much, Julie, and thanks everyone for joining. So the system is very easy to get started. It's basically, most people go to our website, which is mysmilesim.dental, but I think Julie's going to put a link around this video. It is better to click off that link because it will associate you with Julie, which gets you extra goodies and support. And every time we talk with Julie, she's got more ideas for us, even though we know the system inside and out. So I think, you know, as time goes by, members of the club who are using the system will get, you know, a lot of extra value from Julie, and we'll know that you're part of that if you use the link that's attached to the video. But basically, as soon as you go to the website, there's mainly two big buttons. One is register, which you use the first time round, just to give us your basic details. It's very simple, just where your practice is, what the name is, the name of the dentist, and that sort of thing. And then once you've registered, when you come back to it any other time, you would just click the login button and use the email address and password that you've set up. So just like, you know, pretty much any other online system. So as soon as you register, it will log you in, but if you come back to it another time, then you would use the login button. And then there's two parts to it. The first thing is letting your patients know about the system and encouraging them to send in their selfies. Once the selfies come in, they come to you as the dentist and also to us. MySmileSim have a bureau service where our designers will do a few suggested simulations for those smiles, and that we don't send anything to the patients. They come to you for checking. And then you have the option of either sending them to the patient with a note. You know, some practices put quite a personalized note with each one. Some you can set up standard messages that go out. Or you could put a note back to us to say, look, I like that, but it needs to be bigger, moved around, different color, whatever sort of designs you want to let us know. We'll do further simulations based on those directions, and then the process just repeats. Then you can see if you like those, you can send it to the patient, otherwise send it back to us. You can also do the simulations yourself. A lot of the practices like to play with the software. It's online software, you can do it from anywhere, and do your own simulations, but you know, your time is more valuable than our designers. So, you know, it's sometimes more efficient just to choose the ones that we've done. They come at a very low cost if you want to use those. So we're looking at the website now, mysmilesim.dental, and I'm just going to log in as a test dentist. So this would be what the dental practice would see once they've logged in. From this dashboard, the main way is just to invite somebody, and we really recommend that the first thing that someone should do when they join is to invite themselves, so that you get to see what the patient experience is. Invite, say, 5 people, like friends, family, staff, people that you know, and just say, look, we're testing out this new system, please see what you think, take a photo and we'll play with it. That will do a few things. That will get you to understand the whole process, and it will also give our bureau a chance to show you what we do with the photos, and you can give us direction on your style, because some practices like, you know, a very major transformation Hollywood look, and some practices like a very subtle natural look. So when we start sending simulations back to you, you can say which way you like them done, and we'll have that in our notes for the real patient ones, which will come in later, and do them that way. But from this dashboard, so the first way is just to invite someone. So and this is where, you know, Julie and Andy will help to work out processes for within the practice. So we just put in the person's name and their email address, and that's all we do, and then we can email the invitation to them. So as I say, if you do that to yourself, you'll see what it looks like, and you can follow the instructions and do it as the patient. Or you could print it out and actually hand them the bit of paper. So that's
you've already got templates in with all these communications where the dentist, if they want to, they can change it and customize it to their own unique practice, or they can leave it as what has been templated. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah. As well as that, there are posters that you could put up in the practice. So while people are waiting to see the dentist, it will just say, you know, why not try this out and see what, you know, what you could look like. You can just a quick shortcut to share it on Facebook to say, like, we now have this system, and the same thing, try out our app. And you can also do bulk invitations. So from your practice management software, you might export a list of patients, of, you know, all patients, or you could do it, you know, letter by letter, all the A's, all the B's, or however you want to do it. All the people who have incomplete treatment plans is a great way to come out. And just say, if you want to see a little bit more about what you could look like, try the app. So these are all ways of getting people to send in their photos. And then the other ways are you can upload the photos manually. So if you happen to have photos of your patient, if you take a photo of each new patient as a matter of practice, or you do have some photos of patients, their before photos, you can just without using the app. So this is where all the photos come in that have been sent in. You can just click on add new patient and give us the details and attach a file, and we'll do the simulations to show you what that patient could look like, and you can send it on to those people.
It's important to let your clients know that this is not about the end result. This system's really to excite patients, to motivate patients, and to give them a really good idea of how much better they could look if they had any form of cosmetic work done. That's all the system is about. It's not an end result. It's not a result that you can send to the lab.
Yeah.
Although you could send a picture to the lab to give them an idea of what you're looking for, and the lab could produce the end result. However, there's a disclaimer with every photograph to say that the results could vary according to a treatment plan.
Great. And you're right, it's not a way of getting the patient to say yes to treatment even. It's about making sure that all your patients who are interested in aesthetics can get a sticky way of investigating further into it, but also those that are not interested at all, just for a bit of fun, they do it, and all of a sudden that piques their interest as well. So that's good.
Yeah.
Great. So then there's two more ways that we can get patients to send in their photos. So we have a number of resources which can be attached to the practice's website. So there's little widgets that if you want to have on your website, instant smile simulation, you can attach that, and we'll know which practice those patients are coming from. They'll go straight into your photos in your MySmileSim portal. And also you could, we've got a free chatbot that you can put on your website, so that, you know, those things that pop up after a few seconds when someone comes to your website that says, can we help you? And it can be trained with your opening hours and basic information. It already knows your location and phone number from your registration details. So if people ask for that, it will give them that sort of stuff. And it will keep, every 15 seconds or so, we'll keep encouraging them to send in their photo, or at least give us their details so that they can be contacted. and your staff will get a transcript of any engagement. So this is like for people who are busy during the day, in the middle of the night, they suddenly think, I've got to see a dentist, and they come across your website. It's like your virtual staff, which are there to help them at any time. And if they do want to send in a photo from home, then it will come into here and the simulations will be done, which is another way of engaging with them when the contact is made. So, and then the final one is completely different. That's coming from our own marketing. So as the more dentists we have on board in our network, the more marketing we do ourselves, and any public people who are interested in seeing what that could look like. Once we've given them a simulation that they're happy with, then we say, would you like us to get a dentist close to you to contact you about getting, about your a personalized treatment plan, and we'll pass them on to the dentist in the network.
Great.
So that whole side of things is about getting the photos to come in, and then once they all start coming in like this, the next part is what to do with them. So whatever email address you've set up as your practice email when you register, that email address will get notified that there's a new photo coming in. You can get a notification, a push notification on your phone yourself as well if you have our app, and then it comes to you as well as to us. So it's probably worth, if you want, you could wait a few minutes for our bureau to get our suggestions for that photo. But basically, they come in order, so they push the older ones across. So the newest one would be first, and then you could just click on it to see any simulations that have been done, maybe just whitening in this case, and you can either, this is the initial photo, you can either click on the initial photo if you want to start working on it, or you could click on one that's already been done to just to send it to the patient and type a note, or choose from your default notes that you've set up and click on send to patient. That's really all that has to be done. And then just lately, we've made a new feature, which is that if the system detects that the person's been waiting for more than, say, a day, and they haven't got a simulation back, it will remind us to remind you. So basically, you'll get an email that looks similar to this, and it will give you, it's very important to note that when you get any of these contacts coming in, you get to know quite a lot about the patient. So obviously you get their email address and phone number, any comments that they've said. So this was from a chatbot of a website that I was playing with. And then you get to know the patient concerns. So it asks them, are they concerned about the color of their teeth? Most people say yes, they'd like whiter teeth, or maybe at least. Are they concerned about the shape, crookedness, or gaps in their teeth? So you can start to piece together a treatment plan that's appropriate and know what sort of a case this is going to be. And then there might be a few different versions. I mean, this was just really me playing around, but you may get a sort of a natural one where, it's just sort of subtle shaping of certain teeth to make more symmetry and a bit of whitening. Or it may be like veneers or something where it's a whole new set of teeth, and that's a whole different case plan. So for anyone that we've done or that the staff have done, you can either just click on send to patient, and that's just a matter of typing in any notes that you want and clicking send, or we could go to notes to bureau, which is pretty much the same, except that's coming to us now, not the patient. That just says, like we have to do something about these lowers, or whatever you want to tell us to do for the next simulation.
And that email, that little process you've just shown then with your face, John, that is only if the patient hasn't received a response within a day.
Yes. Correct. Yes. So it just goes through and finds the ones which haven't had anything sent back to them, and then we can. So we send that to the practice. That means that the practice doesn't even have to log into their MySmileSim portal. You don't have to go to any websites or anything. It's really just a matter of reading the emails. We do obviously recommend that the dentist looks at it to make sure that it's appropriate to send to the patient, because it will come, it's got like, it will have your practice watermark and branding around it. What that email will say is your phone number, call to make an appointment if you want to discuss this, or you can make a booking, so we can link to your booking link from your website if you're with Health Engine, or if you're with any of the practice management software. MySmileSim has been made a partner of Dental for Windows, so if you have Dental for Windows, then we link straight to that. But we don't mind any link that you have for patients to make a booking. We can send them to that from the app or from their email.
Fantastic. I love Dental for Windows. It's the system I know best, and I promote it like crazy. So I'm thrilled that you've got a connection there. That's great.
If the simulations are done by our bureau, then they will look, say, it will look like this. It would say that's a bureau suggestion. So they'll have this banner, and if the dentist wants to use this one, then you click to unlock the simulation. And and if you're part of Julie's Club, you get free credit. So quite a few per month won't be charged, but after those, then they cost $25 each. And then that will unlock the simulation, take away the watermark, and then once it's unlocked, you can send it to the patient. So if the practice wants to do their own, they just won't unlock the bureau ones, and there's no charge at all.
Great. Thank you.
There's only a charge for the ones that you're using, which is just to save time. So the value out of the system will come from understanding its potential as a marketing system. So the next stage is that once the patient gets their simulation back, they're encouraged to share it on their social media. So this is expanding the practice's social media presence beyond their own followers, because your followers are already pretty much your patients and staff and friends. But one of your patients who gets to see them says, wow, share it on Facebook or Instagram, and their friends all say how great they look with their new teeth. And that's, another encouragement for them to go ahead with the treatment. But also their friends might want to try the system as well. And in the app, there's a invite a friend button once they get the simulation back. So a lot of people know somebody who's conscious about their teeth and say, oh, my mum might want to try this. And then all these extra people come back to the same practice who did the original simulation. So for the investment of a few minutes of time to oversee the first simulation, there's potentially, who knows how many patients could come out of that over time.
For sure. So from a systems perspective, once they've got themselves set up and they've done that initial step-by-step process, then any patient or non-patient out there that is linked to your practice via the MySmileSim, is the first thing they get an email?
In your settings, which is over here, there's a setting to say, do you want to receive an email when a photo is submitted? So most people have that ticked and save that. That means that whichever email address you've used to register will get an email. If some of the practices have wanted to get a push notification on their phone as well, because they may not be looking at their emails. So we can have one device attached to each practice. So someone in your practice can get a push notification. So I've sent myself an invitation from this practice, which is called Bright Smile Dental Practice. And then I'm going to, in the app, take my photo. Okay, and use it. So in the background, the system checks every minute to see if there's been a new photo submitted. So within a minute, there should be the notification coming through. So the photos there. So now in my email,
so once you've got MySmileSim implemented and you've got yourself registered, then the very next thing is to get the photos coming through, and you get an email alert whenever someone does submit a photograph. And the email just looks like that, doesn't it, John?
yeah, that's right. I mean, you can turn off the alerts if you want, but obviously most people decide to keep them on. It just says you have a new photo, gives you the contact details so that it's a real person, it's a genuine one. You don't want
Right.
to be...
And then what's the next step after that? Once we get that email,
yeah,
what's the next step?
If you're the type of practice that want to do the simulations yourself, you would log into your MySmileSim dental portal and you'd see the new photo there, and off you go. You can start playing with it. If not, then you could wait for the second email. The second email will come just like we had before, where it will show you the ones that the bureau has done, and then you don't even have to log in. You can just send that off to the patient with your note. And that's the simplest way to use it.
Fantastic. And then once with whatever message we send through to the patients, it's either going to be, wow, look at how much better you look with your new smile. Look at the impact, how that's fantastic. Or as a practice, the next best thing is utilize that opportunity and jump in there and either send them through to a online booking link for a cosmetic consultation, either paid for or free. Or maintain some kind of engagement. So we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah. Some practices start to talk about, payment plans and the estimated cost of this treatment. Others don't do that until the patients come in. All the stuff, anything that gets sent out to a patient from the system has got a disclaimer, and it says, this is a computer simulation, it's cosmetic, it's just to give you an idea. You really need to talk to your dentist to get a personalized treatment plan for yourself. And we're just trying to get that conversation started, send the patients through when they're qualified, they're interested, and they're ready to go. So it's, we don't want anyone to feel misled, and we don't want to, put pressure on dentists to achieve any sort of result. We just want to get an idea of what people like and what they don't. Our best cases have been where we've sent back a simulation and the patient said, that's not really what I wanted. So then we'd sent another one and, they go, that's what I was looking for. I want to get that one. We've had that happen, a few times, which is great. So, as you know, probably better than anyone, Julie, it's a conversation starter.
Well, that is a very straightforward system, Les and John. Thank you so much for stepping us through it. Of course, if practices have any questions or come across any barriers to registering, they just contact you anytime.
Yeah,
now I'm going to hand over to Andrew Lee of Health Practice Digital to get some marketing ideas around this, and this will also help formulate the systems you put in place and who within your practice are responsible for those systems. So over to you, Andy.
Thanks for the introduction, Julie. Really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Great walk through John and Les there on MySmileSim. So the next question that you might be thinking now is, now that I know how to use MySmileSim to a certain degree, how do I get this out to my communities? How do I engage with new patients? How do I reactivate existing patients? How do I make use of this in order to build the practice? So what I'll do is I'll screen share now and just walk you guys through a short presentation. All right, here we are. So this is the doing session for MySmileSim, and the topic is amplifying your marketing for new patient growth. Now, what does that look like? So just to give a brief introduction into myself and our practice business called Health Practice Digital. So we basically work closely with dental practices across Australia, helping them to bring in more high value patients for treatments, including implants, orthodontics, in general cases, and everything in between. So our campaigns are treatment specific in nature. So we focus on a specific treatment or type of patient that you're looking to bring in more of. There's no one size fits all. If your practice is in a middle to lower income area, we've got a different type of campaign that works for those types of practices. If you're in a middle to affluent local area, there will be campaigns that will work for your practice. Now, today, all advice is provided will be coming from proven experience working with over 50 plus dental practices. Our team is based in Melbourne predominantly, with team members in the UK as well. Now, we've been helping dental practices bring in over 4,500 new patients, resulting in over 16.5 million in additional practice revenue. So this is all coming from proven experience there. All right, so how to implement MySmileSim successfully? That is the million-dollar question here. So there is 3 steps to walk you guys through to really get this moving in the right direction. The first one is trial with existing patients. Your existing patients are patients that already know, like, and trust you. So this is what we like to call low-hanging fruit. They're there to be picked. They're there to, to help your patients move to the next step of their smile journey, their oral health journey. Number 2 is create a competition. Build patient engagement, get people excited about the possibilities of a new smile and the opportunities that can open up for people. At the end of the day, patients and practices, we're all human beings. We all want things in life to feel more fulfilled. And so, if you can create a competition that allows you to connect authentically with your patients, with new patients, it's going to give you an edge compared to other practices in your local area that may be doing status quo things, like just doing regular things that other practices aren't willing to dive into. So I'll provide you the steps to implement this yourself. So this is something that you can kind of get off the ground running with your existing staff members. You don't need to engage with anyone else. Number 3 is amplify your new patient growth. Engage with an existing or an experienced dental marketing company to take your new patient growth to the next level. It can be any dental marketing company that you trust or you think that can help you grow your new patient growth. And there are a few strategies that we can roll through together. All right, so the first one is trial with existing patients. So again, these are patients that already know, like, and trust you. So they're more open to listening to what you have to say about treatments that you think could help them. So the first thing that I would recommend is look through your patient book and look at where you have notes that patients have expressed interest in cosmetic treatments. That might be Invisalign, might be orthodontics, it might be smile design, it might be veneers. So there's a variety of different cosmetic treatments that patients could be interested that they could leverage with MySmileSim. So this is a great area to dive in and trial. So during a conversation with your existing patients, when they come in for maybe a checkup and clean, a recall appointment, ongoing treatment that they may have going, introduce them to MySmileSim. Talk about the app. Talk about how it's been helping other patients and it's so easy to use. So you can quickly walk them through how to download the app, take a photo and see their simulation within minutes within that appointment. So get them excited about it. It's a human connection. People want to feel fulfilled, and part of that is having a smile that they love and can be proud of. It can open up opportunities for them. So, present that opportunity. If you don't, then it's never going to be a possibility for those patients.
And just to interject quickly, Andy, I was listening to Dr. Jesse Green's podcast, The Savvy Dentist, just this morning, and he was mentioning that through financially difficult times, it has been a common theme that people, all of a sudden, lipstick sales go up, and ways of treating yourself. People are desperate to start to feel better in any way. And so you would think that, gosh, with the government-induced recession we're going to have to go through, it may stop people going down the path of aesthetics. But history indicates that if for a group of people, that it's the right time to start promoting aesthetics to them because they want to feel better about themselves.
100% there. I think it's innate within us to want to feel good. Some people want to feel good externally to validate the internal. Some patients want to feel internally good in order to project that outward. So there's no one size fits all. You've just got to present the opportunity and let the patients choose if that's for them and if that gets them excited or not. You're not attached to the outcome. You're just committed to them as patients that you want to do good by them, and that's all you can do.
Great.
So the next step is creating a competition. So now it's time to build engagement and excitement around your practice. Get that vibe going, and you can do that really well online. So you can create a competition. First prize could be in-chair whitening. Second prize could be take-home whitening kit. So the in-chair whitening could be valued at $600 to $800, depending on how you price that in your practice. The second prize could be the take-home whitening kit. That could be $300 to $500. Now, here's some quick, simple steps on how patients can enter that competition. They can, number one, like your Facebook page. 2, download MySmileSim app. 3, take a photo. 4, share their after photo on Facebook and tag the practice in for their chance to win. So really simple. And this is as simple as just creating a Facebook post, attaching an image to show them, what opportunities they could have in order to enhance their smile, restore their smile. So the next step is the more friends you tag, the more entries you have in the competition. So, incentivize them. If they really want to win this competition, they're really interested in enhancing their smile through whitening, then give them more chances to tag more friends. And so then you can have that virality effect of, getting more of this post, your competition, into more news feeds organically. Obviously you can boost posts, you can, enhance that with marketing to get that into more news feeds of patients in the local area, but we'll talk more about that in a second. Another thing you can do is promote this on your Facebook page, your homepage of your website. So really put it out there in different areas. Not everyone's going to see your post. You have to put it in places that, patients can find you. Maybe it's on Google. So multiple contact points, get the word out there. The next thing, which is quite important as well, is mention the competition to your existing patients when they come into the practice or book an appointment on the phone. So really get together with your team during a team meeting and say, look, we're going to be doing a competition here, and we need every one of you to be aware and on board to get excited about this, to get the energy levels when you're on the phone with patients. So when a patient calls up and they want to book in for an appointment, mention the competition. When practices turn up at the front desk and they're looking to, pay their outstanding balance, mention the competition. Really get the word out there and get excited about it.
Fantastic. I love those ideas.
Patients will vibe on that. That's just how people are innately.
Yeah.
So the next step is amplify your new patient growth. And this could give you an access to position as the go-to practice as well. So what does that look like? Amplifying this competition to reach and attract patients that are in the local area using Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising. It could even be Google advertising. Now, there's a few steps in place that we do for our existing practices to really get the word out there about the practice and about the treatments that we can offer to patients in the local areas. We really position each practice for certain types of treatment that they want to be known for. So you're not just a run-of-the-mill practice, you're a go-to practice that really is looking to help more patients. So when we create these types of treatment-specific marketing campaigns, you've got to have a specific process in place. So the first one is send them to a landing page or a specific page of your website that clearly defines the competition and next steps. Now, where do the leads go? So they can either call in to the practice and find out more about the competition. You might have a link that goes straight to a contact form page, and it could be putting in their details and steps on how to get involved with the competition. Now, those leads will be sent directly to the practice via email, and the front office team will be able to receive them in order to contact those patients. Once that contact form is submitted, what we do is we set up automatic emails to go out to these patients in order to nurture them. We actually call it a patient nurturing system. So that allows you as the practice to be able to engage with these patients, and you don't have to do anything. The emails are automatic, and the emails are crafted together with you and our team in order to make sure that the language that goes out is congruent with how you communicate with patients as well. So that's really important.
Nice. And I love that continued engagement process, because MySmileSim, as Les and John were saying earlier, that may not have been kept into the recording earlier, MySmileSim is about piquing people's interest and developing an interest where there may not have been an interest before, or there has been an interest and now they've gone to the next step of getting an after picture organised. Now, people will be on a large spectrum, all from I want to book in to get that whitening done in the aftershot right now, all the way through to I wasn't even interested, but I've still got that image in my head. This is me. This is, you know, John and Les took a photo of me and did an improvement on my smile in our original information presentation around MySmileSim. I still think about it. So there's people on the other end of the spectrum that were never planning on doing anything. They never had an issue with their smile, but all of a sudden they've got this sticky image in their brain of their after picture, and maybe a year or two down the track, they want to do something about it then. And you've got everyone in between those two. So one response to the MySmileSim after picture isn't adequate for majority of the people. It will be for a small number, but not for a majority of the people. You want to continue that engagement, don't you?
100% there. Couldn't agree more. They say that 3% of patients are hot buyers that are ready to buy right now. So if you think about a triangle of buying levels, if you're just marketing to patients that are in the market right now, so obviously if you use Google SEO or Google ads, you're only accessing the top 3% that are ready for a treatment solution right now or needing a treatment solution. You're not tapping into that 97%, that hidden demand that is there. It's just there, ready to be unlocked. But how do you access that? You've got to do things a little bit differently in order to engage with those types of patients and pique their interest. And MySmileSim is a great app and a great software to be able to engage patients who are in that 97%, who are willing to have that conversation, but they're just not ready yet to have it. So it's just a perfect way to get their interest.
And what we certainly want is for the people that are out there that eventually may go ahead with some sort of aesthetic work, we want them so engaged with your practice that they end up booking in with you, whether it be today, in a month, in 2 years, in 5 years' time, that they're not booking in with other practices, they're booking in with you because you provided some kind of relevant experience for them that was of high enough value that they remember you and they think, when one day I want to get it done, that's the place I'm going to get it done. And that's as well what you were talking before, Andy, as well, about become the practice that's known for this in your area.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more there. It's if you want to establish to be the go-to practice, you have to do things a little bit differently. You need to take some risks. You need to put yourself out there. And, you know, the most important thing here is to be authentic, show yourself, connect as human beings with these patients. So as we were talking, we talked about where the leads go to. So the leads will go to your practice via email. And so once your front office team have those leads there, the next step is to be able to call them. Now, we've got a bit of a system behind that. And this is what we recommend. You designate 1 to 2, preferably 1 team member to call the patient. So, you know, we like to call these front office team members patient concierges. So patients that they really advocate for the patient, they really care about the patient, they really want to get into their world. So the more conversations that they're having in connecting with these patients, then the more that they can really step into their world, be empathetic and ask great questions to be able to unlock more of their interest, get them engaged and move them to the next step. So once these patients are placing themselves in the competition to win these prizes, first or second, follow up with these patients one by one. Now, you could say something like, you know, hey, Jen, hope you're well. I see that you've entered into our competition to win the whitening packages. We did see your after photo. It looks great. Now, you mentioned a few things about your smile that could be improved upon. So what do you like about the after smile? And just ask more questions. 80% of the conversation should be you asking questions. Sorry, the other way around. 80% of the conversation should be them talking, and 20% should be you asking great questions to unlock more of their interest.
Nice.
Now, the next thing you want to do is once you're getting their peak interest, and the really important thing here is because they've entered the competition, they're more likely to pick up the phone and talk to you because they're interested, they're warm, and they've got an incentive to do so. So it's a perfect opportunity to really engage with them. Don't let all the entries come through for the competition and then announce the winners and then contact those patients that missed out and didn't win and then offer them something. You know, have that conversation in the heart of the competition, whether it's a 2-week period, 3-week period, do that. Now, once you've talked more about those interests that they have, where they would like to have their smile, areas that they want to improve upon, if they're interested in veneers or they've thought about some form of orthodontics, offer them a veneers consult, smile makeover consult, or orthodontic consult that fits what they're looking to do with their smile, with their teeth.
Do you not think it might be an idea then, if you're running a competition, to offer them a $50 voucher off any procedure in the dental practice if they enter? And then the big prize comes afterwards. Now, my thinking then is that the patient somehow has a voucher to come back or to make another appointment with the dentist anyway.
Yeah, definitely. That could be another way to incentivize those patients that don't win the competition, that they're a winner anyway as well. It's like,
Yeah.
it's a way to say thank you for being part of the competition, to engage with the practice. There's so many ways you can kind of cut.
And then when they're referring their friends can automatically get a $50 voucher for entering as well.
Yes, exactly. So it could be a $50 voucher, or it could be 10% off a specific treatment, but the monetary value could work. So it really is just up to you as the practice to find what you want to do in terms of a promotion where everybody wins, and you're offering that consult opportunity for them during those conversations to move patients to the next stage. So maybe they haven't won anything yet, the competition hasn't ended, but now you've got your books more full with appointments of patients that are looking to move to the next step, or see what's possible for them in terms of the treatments that relate to MySmileSim and what you're looking to bring in more of.
And in this new world of virtual consultations that some practices have become very effective at, that might be a nice next step for people who aren't willing at this point to commit to a complete face-to-face appointment time, that you can gain some additional information, not a treatment plan, but additional information of what's possible when we jump online together. Because online you can, smile up into the camera. It's all subject to a complete dental examination, but it's an additional, deeper level of information if people are caught in that in-research space and they're not yet ready to commit to anything major. But I am intrigued. I'd like to know a little bit more. Very rough costs, very rough range of services that would be required, the sort of time that's required. So a virtual consult could be something else that could be built into your systems when you're using MySmileSim.
Fantastic there. So once the competition ends, follow up again to touch base with all patients who entered. So really, that's why you want to have that designated 1 to 2 team members who take ownership of this particular role, and really drive the success of the competition, to bring in as many patients, help as many patients during this process. So that's a little quick, succinct way of getting into this and making it happen. So the first competition may not be the most successful campaign that you'll ever run, but it's all about consistency. Maybe you're doing this every couple of months. Maybe you're changing it up with a different competition next month just to keep that engagement going. So, what I recommend for all your practices out there is really just take action with these things and run with it.
And the only limit is your own creativity around it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So
and you are very good with the creative marketing mind space, that's for sure.
Definitely. So just to round out my section, if you guys have any questions, concerns, want to bounce ideas, feel free to reach me at andrew@healthpracticedigital.com.au, or feel free to give me a call, and we can organise a chat. And over to you, Julie.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Andy. Just to be clear around the pricing of MySmileSim, it's $90 per month. And then if you want to utilise the simulations that the Bureau at MySmileSim do, $25 per image. Remember, you can do the simulations yourself if you choose. As a special offer to the club members, MySmileSim have been absolutely fantastic. And so you continue to pay the $90 per month membership, but for the first 2 months, you don't have to pay anything for any of their bureau-generated simulations. So it is a great opportunity for you to give MySmileSim a chance to see if it will succeed in your practice in achieving stronger new patient growth and stronger production as well. Now, I've created a couple of documents that will help you systematize and implement MySmileSim into your practice. Let's have a look. Now, both of these documents will be added to the Trello board, the card for the doing session for MySmileSim, and also to the downloadable documents if you're looking for it through the Club Hub. The first one is the implementation process. So first of all, it goes through your goal, and the goal is to see an increase in aesthetic consultations and to also see an increase in the aesthetic services completed. Now, I've done this in 2 separate goals, and you can add and modify to these goals as you wish. But I thought if it's just around production value of services completed on patients, it could be missing one key area. If you have seen a large increase in the aesthetic consultations within your practice, however, you have not been able to convert them into paid treatments in your appointment book, then the gap therefore could be in your patient engagement process. And so it wouldn't necessarily be an issue with MySmileSim, but maybe your patient engagement process has areas where it could improve. So I like to track both things. First of all, how much real interest is being garnered in the market by converting these interested parties into actual consultations where they're interested to know more about the services that they may need, whether it be tooth whitening or veneers or orthodontics, and pricing, and how much of them then go through to completed treatment. I think those 2 elements are worth tracking. The next thing is, how will we monitor progress? So all of MySmileSim simulations will be tracked to identify the number of simulations that are processed, the aesthetic consultations booked, the planned treatment from consultations completed, the minute you've got a dollar value on that per month, as opposed to the dollar value that you have paid out of pocket for MySmileSim, then you can determine what your return on investment or ROI is. And also the patient response to follow up with the view to modify as you see what works well. As you know, this is a brand new thing that you're going to be doing within your practice. We're going to be coming up with some ideas on subsequent communications that we can make to these people to see if we can extend them out to eventually at some point book some treatment in with us. Those ideas around the communications, the method we use, SMS, email, direct telephone call, direct mail, and the timing of those communications, whether it be a day after they've done the simulation, a week after, 2 weeks after, 1 month, 3 months later. The content within those communications, the words you're using, whether there is an incentive to book a virtual consultation, a no-charge consultation, or a paid consultation. All of these little areas can be modified and tracked to make sure that you are getting a really strong feeling for what the market wants from you. What kind of communications, what's the timing, what's the method of communication, what do we need to do to make best use of the people that get these simulations done. So I'm going to show you a report that I've generated for you to fill out that will help you monitor the progress. Then we go through the tasks, and this is where you guys can determine what tasks are required for your practice, who's going to be responsible for making sure that task is completed and by when. For example, go to the MySmileSim.dental website and click on the register button and perform a test case with a team member so you get a feel for what the process is going to be. The next task I suggest you do is decide who is going to track simulations as they come through via email. That could be the receptionist, it could be the practice manager, the treatment coordinator, or one of the dentists. Also, decide which practitioner is going to approve, or if you guys are doing the simulations yourself, who's going to be doing the simulation after the images prior to being forwarded onto the patient. So we want somebody's trained eye looking at that simulated image saying, yes, I'm happy for that one to be sent through to the patient. And I've got patient in quotation marks because some of these people will be your existing patients, but some of them will be people who have never visited your practice before. We've got to call them patients in quotation marks just for ease of communication via this PDF. The next task is assess the MySmileSim templated messages within the website and make any desired edits. So who's going to be responsible for doing that? By what date? We want to get some momentum going here. How will you flag patients who have used MySmileSim? Possibly enter a new code so these people can be easily tracked. Enter notes as if the simulation was a form of a virtual consultation. Now, I've researched into virtual consultation, and I will just show you now quickly within the card for the doing session for MySmileSim, and you scroll down, and the Australian Dental Association guidelines around teledentistry, and this was updated mid-April this year. It really won't lend itself, this item number of 919 telecommunication doesn't lend itself to this particular situation. What they determine a teleconsultation or a 919 item number is when the patient is in dire need for a consultation, and because of what's happening in the world today, or for whatever reason, that patient cannot attend for a physical consultation, so it must be done online. And it says here, it should be noted that a service may only be provided by teledentistry where it is safe and clinically appropriate to do so. This item number is not intended to be used for offering routine assessments, advice, or oral health instructions. It is a patient-led service. Ideally, teledentistry services should only be offered to existing patients or those referred by another practice. The remote provision of a consultation to a patient in exceptional circumstances which prevent face-to-face consultation. It may include the provision of oral health or treatment information and referral. So it doesn't seem to be an item number that you can use for this. So I would suggest in your dental software, create a new code of some kind where you can flag these patients off as having a simulation done. And then you can easily gather a list together and track these people as they move through whatever journey you determine for them. And as always, whenever you're in communication with a patient, enter in all of the notes around the communication within the notes section, so you track careful notes that are relevant to that particular person. The next task is decide whether you are going to enter non-patients who take advantage of the app into your dental software as well. I would suggest yes. You want to have as much information around these patients, and so whoever picks up the phone, should they ring for a consultation, then they can have an elegant, well-informed discussion with that patient so they make sure that they're being treated properly. Scrolling down. Then we go into promotion. Decide how you will promote MySmileSim to your market. There's the waiting room poster, the social media posts. You can have a direct conversation with attending patients that come in. Why don't you give this a try while you're in the waiting room? It's a little bit of fun. Direct email to a selection of your patient base. Hire the services of a company such as Health Practice Digital, Andrew Lee, who we just saw speak before, and actually run a proper campaign. So get together with your team, talk about MySmileSim, have a look at the live session and now this doing session. Have everybody on board with what the concept is all about and understanding what the potential of it is to your practice. Go through these questions and formulate a plan of implementation. Delegate things, tasks to team members, get a timeline on when these sort of things are going to be done. The next part of your communication with your team is, let's decide what the patient journey is. After sending out that initial simulation image, what's next? If we stop right there, we're only going to get a tiny section of the market of the respondents to actually book in for treatment or to book in for a cosmetic consultation. Design the follow-up communications you will provide to maintain patient engagement. So therefore, the second contact, they've had the first one, it's the simulation being sent out to them. The second contact, is it going to be an SMS, to SMS an offering of a complimentary consultation to discuss their situation further? It could be an email of brochures about the services indicated in the simulation. Maybe they just wanted whitening, and so you brightened up the colour, sent that simulation out. The next step is to then email them information around tooth whitening and have indications of pricing around tooth whitening, and also include links to your website, to your Facebook page. Make sure that you are really building that email out with as many resources as possible to better engage that patient. Telephone call to the patient to build rapport and offer complimentary consultation. And I've just got great off in here. Remember, virtual consultations are easy to set up and can be a nice mid-step for a patient instead of that larger jump to a physical consultation. The virtual consult can educate patients about the kind of services that can help them and include a pricing guide, all subject, of course, to a full examination and assessment. And so sometimes it's too much of a commitment to ask a patient just after they've been sent a simulation to actually front up for a physical consult. So why not have a virtual consult? We can let you know what I mean by veneers, crowns, implants, bleaching. I can answer all your questions around that and give you an indication of pricing. No charge. It's only 15 minutes out of your day. Would you like to take advantage of that? Would that be helpful for you? So the virtual consults can really play a fantastic role in this. And of course, because the virtual consultations aren't an actual examination and assessment of a patient's particular individual oral condition, then those consultations could even be done by your treatment coordinators, by your trained dental assistants, etc. Or do you want to send physical brochures and practice information? Remember, physical things still leave a stronger impression on our brains than anything virtual or digital. So physical is still good. Then what's going to be the third contact? Discuss with your team. We're going to be, for example, doing an SMS offering as the second contact. The third contact, see the above examples, make up examples of your own. What are we going to do for the third contact and what are we going to do for the fourth contact? Who is going to be responsible for these communications and at what time interval, under the due date, what time interval are they going to happen? The second contact is going to happen 2 days after the simulation, for example. The third contact is happening 1 month after, etc. Remember, put something in place and start to roll with it. You'll get a sense of whether anyone's jumping on board with these additional forms of communication or not. So they're out there to be modified, to be changed around. So continue involving your whole team on these discussions and get everyone's feedback. What would you do in this situation if you had done this simulation, you'd received it? What would you like to have as the next communication? It all depends on where people are on that journey. Zero interest, but you've piqued it because it was fun, or seriously interested, I'm just looking for the practice to go to get this done. The second document, and as you can see, I've got all the documents here, and I've got them both in PDF form and Word format. So you can go into the Word format and make adjustments to them if you would like. This is the MySmileSim tracking report. This is something that whoever's manning up this process, this is something that the person who is delegated to track this process, they enter the date of the simulation, the patient's name, tick the ones they've been forwarded that simulation, indicate what the second contact is, because this may change. The second contact may change into a different form of communication as you roll out the system. So actually write down what that second contact has been, what the third and fourth contacts have been, if there were any subsequent ones. Tick once the consult's been booked, and tick if the treatment was ever done, and enter in the dollar amount that that patient booked in for, so you can start gauging what your return on investment is. So there you have it. There is some documentation that will help you systematize and implement MySmileSim into your practice. I hope it is helpful. Please let me know if you need any additional assistance with this process. Otherwise, good luck with it. Well, that is wonderful. Thank you all so much. Les and John from MySmileSim and Andrew from Health Practice Digital. If you need to contact any of them, all of their contact details are included in whatever avenue you're watching this recording. I think together we can make sure that this is a very useful application for your dental practice and increasing the number of aesthetic cases you're doing and the number of new patients coming through. Until next time, we look forward to seeing you then. Bye.